Okay, let's get into it. Let's have a great day. Let's have a great Tuesday, and continue this week off. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm a happy man right now. I'm a happy man right now. We've been waiting for this pullback. This this is something I've been saying. These are A+ setups. Now, I'm not going to say unfortunately, but something I've been breaking down during the pre-market. You've been hearing me say a lot of these break-in retests has been occurring during the pre-market, and when that happens, there's really nothing we can do about that. But we've been waiting for this pullback to 673. This is what I mean when I say patience pays. Now, I mean, hold on. Let me show you what I mean. We've been waiting for this. So, like I said, I've been waiting for this market to pull back. This is what we've been waiting for. I've been preaching this for what, 2, 3 days now? 2, 3 days. So, even though I don't really trade this buy in the Qs, I will be having both of these on my close watch list coming into today. So, really just looking for a pullback long off the 673. Like I said, we already got that. So, if we just rally, during market open, we can't forget we pretty much did pull back to 673, 77. So, 70 cents off, unfortunately. But I mean, this is the A+ long down here. I've been saying that this is the dip buy on the daily. This is a dip buy on the daily. So I'm very happy to see this. We'll see what happens when market opens. We don't have any red folder news coming into today. So no news catalyst plays. This is now resistance. And the reason, and honestly, the reason I really like this play, at least on the SPY, we can see we still got some room here. A lot of room here on the Qs to pull back. But the reason I like this play, let me go back on the SPY. The reason I like this is because not only are we pulling back to a key level, right? It's also a gap fill play. It's also a gap fill play. So if we can pull back, have a dip and rip, we have all this room to fill. We have all this room to fill. I mean, that is a great RR. That is a dip buy. That's really why I like it. Not only is it a gap fill play to the upside, it's off a key level. So we'll see. Tesla, no surprise. Yesterday, this is why I'm prepped for every scenario, and I'll make sure you guys go into the day with a proper game plan. Like I said, if Tesla wants to straight up equal straight down, can't make this up. Straight up, straight down. So if Tesla wants to fill its thin volume, which we can see, we're just looking for a pullback long off of 450. That's all we're looking for. Like I said, if you don't want to trade anywhere in this channel, that is 100% valid. Ignore everything else, set an alert at 466, and just wait for the break and retest above 466. So this is valid. I will be looking for a pullback long off of 450. This thing is still bullish to the upside. This thing is still in play. So we shall see what happens. You can see we swept the previous day low. We're starting to hold that a little bit. So if we don't pull back to 450 and we just stay, in this channel, I'm pretty much hands off. But I don't like that we are back in this channel. That's not good. Things were looking promising, but you know how Tesla is. We ended up closing above this. Buyers defended this very well, very, very well. You can see, and we just ultimately fell off. So this thing's just moving with the overall market. SPYs pulled back heavily, Qs pulled back heavily, but we got to stay on our toes because we literally saw yesterday Tesla opened around the same price that it's sitting at now, and look what it did. So we can't be surprised if Tesla does that. And then NVIDIA, these are things setting up. Let's go here on the daily. I still want this one. This is the one I really want. I still want that. Like we got the breakout. I broke this down before. We got the breakout over this 195.62, but we never got the retest. So I will be cautious on the video. Obviously, this is our no trade zone because you can clearly see we are starting to form a channel here. We don't want to be in there. So not looking to short this name. I know some people, would probably come into the day. Give me one sec. I know I broke this down before in the past, but some people would probably be looking for that. Pop and fade off the previous day low. That's not a good setup. Just the reason for that being, it's a low probability setup. We are bullish on the higher time frame. We're trending. Yesterday, we literally almost went back towards all-time highs. And then, if you short, you're shorting into a channel. So we don't want anything to do with that. That's valid. Can look for this. You can clearly see here is being defended during the pre-market. This 201.05, it's a clear level. So those are two key levels that I'm looking for. I would really prefer this. I would take this shot here. If I see strong buyer step in and I see this overall market, the Qs and the SPY, take that bounce. So hope that makes sense. That's what we're looking at. And then Apple. Apple really didn't do anything after market and really during the pre-market. We're kind of just sitting dead smack in between the previous day high, the previous day low, the pre-market high, and the pre-market low. So here on Apple, what I'm looking for today, obviously, right? I'm looking for that. But this is really the A+. I broke this down in the past. We ended up breaking this key level here on the 4-hour, but we never got that retest. So as I always say, the deeper the pullback, the better. Hopefully, if you see the market structure, see that? That's the dip buy. This thing continues higher. So 264.05, that is really my key level that I'm looking for here on Apple. Hopefully we get that. We'll see. Right now it's just in dead smack in the middle of the range. Some alerts. These are really my main three that I will be watching. Tesla, NVIDIA, and Apple. So one thing that you can notice about all three is they're all pretty much just sitting in a range right now. Apple, range. NVIDIA, dead smack, range. and then Tesla. Tesla's just back in this range. So, and I broke this down before, but honestly, if we pull back here and the price action isn't that clean, or it looks like it's starting to consolidate, I'm just gonna be hands off here. All right, we can't go wrong skipping a trade in here because now we'll just be back in the channel. Now we'll just be back in that channel. So let's go here on the daily. Starting to see up here, clear as daylight. Like this 466.50, this is a solid level. You can see every time we push up into this thing, and then we had 2 days here. Every time we push up into this thing, we cannot get a daily candle to like fully close over. Like I said, it's really been, a solid year since we've even had a daily candle closure above this. So it's it's almost there. Yesterday looked promising. Like I said, Tesla will always be Tesla, but you can see, we ended up avoiding this channel. Like I said, as long as we're above, 410, this thing is bullish bias. You can see this thing is it's getting there. It's getting there. We just got to be patient. But this thing is trending higher. It's moving higher. It's just not the cleanest price action. So we're just going to remain patient on Tesla. All right, a couple more minutes here until market opens, less than 10. So really the idea that I'm looking at here on the video, and I'm always a little cautious on the video because I don't know, maybe it's just me. When I enter this name, I understand like it takes a while for this thing to like really take off. It's a slow mover for sure. Like I've always said, it reminds me a little bit of Apple, but the idea here that I'm looking for on this 20105 is you can see that every time price pulls back, ends up shooting up. Every time price pulls back to this level, ends up shooting up. So I'm kind of expecting the same thing here today. If we can get that pullback, you can see we pull back a little bit. Like I've been saying, these break and retests has been occurring during the pre-market, but that's kind of what I'm expecting here. Now I do understand that we're starting to form a channel in here. I'm noticing that. I mean, even here, right? We break, we retest here, we end up moving up to all-time high. So 205, I'm sorry, 201.05 is a key level. But if the price action is like doing, something like that, right, and then it wants to like slowly take off, I'm gonna just be hands off and just wait for the reclaim over this 201.05 and then really a clear shot here towards all-time highs. I would prefer taking that setup, but that's really my idea here. I don't want anyone to be confused because I know it says, no trade zone. That's basically, if it opens up dead smack in the middle of the range, which price seems to be wanting to do right now, but you cannot take that, and that's fine because you are in a no trade zone. That's 100% valid. My idea here is really buying the dip on this name, looking for, like I said, you always want to be in a position, down here by the time we already get back up towards all-time highs. But really, the more conservative play, which I'm probably thinking, is remember, like we still need this, right? That was the breakout and never got the retest. So the more conservative play, and we'll see how market looks at open, that I might just take is either this and that. That's really what I might do. But I'm just looking at the pattern here. I'm looking, history repeats itself, and I'm noticing, every time we pull into this 201.05, this thing moves higher. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see that today. So if this thing open and rips, it's because we already kind of got the retest during pre-market. So I hope that makes sense. You can see we're already starting to move higher. So we may not even get that pullback to 201 anyway. We shall see. Looking about 2.5 minutes till market opens here. Something that I'm also looking at here on the Qs, I am very open to really playing. Like I've said, we're bullish bias. Overall market is trending higher. I'm very open to this on a zero. That's a great scalp. That'd be a gap fill play, a reclaim of a key level. I'm very open to that. That's like a really good shot. So, we'll see what this overall market does at market open. We got about 2 minutes here till market opens. I know you can't see the SPY and the Qs on my screen. I also have it. I have 3 monitors, so I'm looking at it on my right hand side. Okay, we got 1 minute on the dot here till market opens. So strong little pop here on Apple. Strong little pop there on Apple. So we shall see. I'm willing to take Tesla. So if we pull back to like this 450, I really got to read the price action, but I'm starting to see like clear divergence here on Apple. So if Apple sets up first, I'm more open to that. Like technically, we can't go wrong skipping Tesla if it's sitting in between 466 and 450 because it's pretty much a channel. So we can just treat that as a no trade zone. Yeah, you can see the divergence here on Apple a little bit. Okay, this overall market's pulling back. I'm hoping SPY can really pull back all the way back down to 673. Heavy open right now. If Apple's the one that holds up, that's going to be the play. Like I said, technically we can't go wrong skipping skipping Nvidia and Tesla because they're both sitting in a channel, right? No trade zone there, and then Tesla, no trade zone there. So we can't go wrong skipping those two. I think buyers are starting to step up here on Tesla. Okay, so SPY and Qs, red to green, this first 2-minute candle. I am watching Apple. You can see the relative strength on Apple compared to the, well, these are wicks showing strong buyers, so but you can see the relative strength here. Let's see. This 269.10 acting as a strong resistance here. You can see sellers stepping up there, right there on the dot. Apple kind of just got this big surge out of nowhere, pre-market. So we'll let this play out and see. Right, if Tesla and Nvidia wants to just kind of sit sideways, I really wouldn't be surprised because they're both in a channel. 253.80. Yeah, yesterday Tesla moved $20, so I wouldn't be surprised. This thing, market pulling back. Yeah, Q's is pulling back. Q still has a long way to go on this pullback on the overall market, so kind of wouldn't be surprised. As of right now, I'm kind of gravitating towards Apple because this seems to be the name holding up. You can clearly see that. Yeah, big pullback here on the spine of Q, so I'm not really comfortable longing off these names. Apple's the only one I'm really looking at. You can clearly see the divergence here. Yeah, we don't have any news. Smirker's just pulling back. Apple, yeah. Look at that. At 269.10 is a strong level. It's a super strong level. Could look to play the pullback off this 205 and 450, but if I don't have the overall market behind me, I'll skip on these trades. Like I actually just broke down this on NVIDIA. This is really the pullback that I'm looking for. Remember, this is a lot of thin volume. We broke out of this key level and never retested this 195. So us pulling back today, if we fall under that, that's healthy. That's 100% healthy. We need that pullback still. So I'm not too upset if NVIDIA wants to give up this 205 today. I'm sorry, this 201.05. Nothing here on Tesla. We know we're not looking to short this name. So yeah, I actually hope NVIDIA kind of gives up this 201. The A plus pullback long is way down there, like around 195. So Apple's holding up. I think this overall market's just a little too heavy right now at the open, but that's expected. Yeah, like this market's pulling back, but I want this. Like we want this. We're looking for this 673. That is a valid shot. You can see Q still has a long way, so it's a little bit of a divergence here between the spine and the Qs. Q still has a long way. I mean, look how big this gap was on the daily on the Qs. Look at that. Look how big this gap was. So this thing has a long way. It's still a gap under our 212 key level. Tesla could just be breaking, retesting this 450 to the downside. Strong buyer stepping up here on NVIDIA at the 201.05. Clearly. I can be biased, but I would prefer to. I'm more comfortable taking Apple just because we can clearly all see the divergence on this name. This pullback long was valid on NVIDIA, but technically you're not wrong passing that because we're in a channel. I'd rather take this 205.15 just to be outside of this channel. See what I mean? We drew this up, so I'm not surprised buyers are stepping up here, but I trust over 205 a little bit more, just a little bit. It's a valid shot. This market is trending lower too, so that's like kind of one of the main things. Tesla wants to like break and retest over 450. I like it. Remember, you wouldn't be playing the reclaim. The reclaim is when we broke and retested this, and we held it, and then we fell under, but we never got a retest, and buyers showed their hand, so you would still wait for the break and retest on this reclaim. See NVIDIA? Like, just don't trust that. Like we're in a channel, so you can't expect clean price action when we're in a channel. That's why we avoid no trade zones. Like I always say, you have to know the pros and cons to your system. And the cons on a break and retest is channels and consolidation periods. I mean, we can clearly see this 201, 05 being respected very well. Very well. We shall see. Sellers are really defending this on Apple. Look at Apple. We're getting this push into it, but man, look at that. I can get a pullback here. You can see NVIDIA trying to defend this 201. It really is. It's nice. Tesla looks good. Cons are moving. Good momentum in our favor. Nice. Super solid. Super solid. Very happy with that. Okay. Contracts move. Okay, I guess. A little okay. Those contracts did not move as well as they did yesterday. But still a solid trade, but I'm open to Apple. I really want Apple the most. I really want Apple the most, and be completely honest. Solid trade on Tesla, maybe like 1200. You can see bottom right, but this NVIDIA one was like really the one. And then for those who are wondering, um, for me, this 466 and this 450 is a no trade zone for me. It's a no trade zone for me. So I wasn't really trying to hold this, and then I saw that those contracts weren't really climbing that well. You can clearly see it wasn't climbing that well. Not really sure why, but well, yeah, I'm open to Apple. I'm looking at Apple. Now let me go to the Qs and the SPY are breaking over the high day. That's also why I took that trade. Look at that, breaking over the high day. So I like it. Look at Apple though. I'm very open to this. I just need a little bit more displacement. Let's see if I like it. You guys know me, I'm very big on being one and done. I only like taking one trade a day. The 20105 did hold. It did hold. Look at Qs. See what we're doing now on Tesla? No. If this thing rallies up, sure, but the reason I did not take or care to hold this is because we're just in a no trade zone and those contracts were not moving. I ended up getting a decent pop, but those contracts did not move. See Apple? This is why you wait for displacement, right? So I was really hoping this thing pulled back deeper. I was really hoping that pulled back deeper. Solid job here, kind of on NVIDIA. See, that's why I'm happy with the sell here. Like, if this thing rallies up, sure, but I understand like we're in a channel, so I can't really expect clean price action. But those cons went, I think I sold into like, I don't know, 6%. Yeah, made 1200. I tried to sell like at 1600, but I'm just not comfortable holding these in this channel. I understand Apple's a slow one, so we'll see. See that? That's why you wait for a displacement before the retest. That's exactly why you avoid a lot of fake outs when you do that. See, I took the break and retest here. Look at the displacement here. The body of the candle closed at 451.27. I entered here. So it was a really good scalp because I entered technically like way up here on this candle, like after this wick already formed. So I'm very happy with that. It's a solid hit. The video looks good. I passed this because market was really pulling to the downside. But you can see NVIDIA is actually in correlation with the Qs. Look at the V shape on the Qs. Right, look at that, and then look at NVIDIA. Literally the same. Look at those last three candles. Look at those last three candles. These things are in sync. So this pullback that you see, this is literally the Qs doing that V shape, which is kind of crazy. Yeah, see, I'm happy with, like, I understood the conditions here on Tesla. Completely different trade yesterday because we were outside of this channel. Like, something on NVIDIA is, you would want to see something like this, right? We saw that. Good. You want to hold into the high day, see high day turn into support, continue higher, and that you want to see each dip to start to get bought up. That's exactly what you want to see. You want to see this on that. We got the break and retest here. You would want to see that, but we're in the channel. Hope that makes sense. Let's see. And of course, right, because like I said, you're not wrong skipping both NVIDIA and Tesla. Um, not wrong at all. But I'm going to take Tesla over NVIDIA because I promise you, that move on NVIDIA is not going to pay me that on Tesla. We know that. But you can see we're starting to kind of sit sideways. Now, NVIDIA is a different one. Like if NVIDIA can get over this high, like if you took this, right, because it's up the pre-market game plan, if you took this, you want to read this and see if like sellers are stepping in and then sell accordingly there. See this? Like, I'm not liking this on Apple. See, this was solid. You're able to catch this. Trust the level. This thing came back to the dot. I personally didn't want to take that. Like I explained why, but pre-market, before market even opened, when I drew this up, I kept noticing that every time we pull back into 20105, this thing just shoots higher. But it's NVIDIA. Like I just understand how NVIDIA moves. Like, for honest truth, this is the one I really want. It's like down here, this 195. That's the solid trade. But you see, every time we pull into 201, buy step up, right? History likes to repeat itself, so it's a valid shot. It's a valid shot. I think I was looking for a little bit more momentum here on Tesla, like I did yesterday, because I actually ended up playing two strikes out of the money. Did it tell me what cons I played? It doesn't, but I played. I don't know what it would be now, but I played two strikes out of the money. What an Apple? Hopefully Apple can. I might be done here. Hope this makes sense. Like, of course, because I probably could have held to the high day, but I didn't care to like on Tesla. And we're sitting in this channel again. I don't really care to do that, but I still played the break and retest over this 450. Let's see. If it is struggling, I feel like it can get over this. So far, our game plan on each name is pretty much set up. We already got it here on Tesla, break, retest, pull back long off of 20105. That's setting up, and then 269. This is one. I'm open to playing this on Qs. If we can get a break over I'm sorry, 626, I'm very open to that. So, yeah, this is solid on Tesla. No regrets here. I'm very happy with that. Very happy. I understood conditions. Like we're sitting in a channel. I'm very happy with that. Apple looks good. This looks good. Like this looks great. I'm really open to taking this on a zero on Qs. Like I already said, if we get over this, we're playing a gap fill play and we're going to the upside. I love that. That's a good confluence for me. I'm more than okay with that. But see the difference here on Nvidia and Tesla? Why people trade them? Look at Nvidia, right? If you play the pullback long here, it's 20105, and we're sitting at 203. So pretty much a $2 move. Look at Tesla. I mean, 450, and it's already up at 456. That's a $6 move, right? So I hope that makes sense. I know a lot of people I understand. A lot of people sometimes are frustrated that like people only trade Tesla. Like I always say, that's why. This is how we avoid fake outs here. Like this is a good lesson here on Apple. Waiting for proper displacement. See these breakouts? Like look at that. Price push all the way up to 269.59, but it didn't close, right? So you just wait for proper displacement. But this 269.10 is a key level. It's a key level. I'm very open to trading Qs here. Q's looks solid. I'm very open to this. Solid pullback on here on the video. I hope these make sense though. Like I passed on that because we were in the channel. I did not care to take that to an extent, just because the overall market was just pulling heavy to the downside at open. So I did not like that. Tesla's a name I trust with divergence. Nvidia, and then I'll see what sets up. Like if we don't get this, I'm still open to like a break and retest for 205.15. That's a very valid shot. I'm watching Qs here. Watching Qs. Yeah, the only thing I didn't like on Tesla was my contracts are not moving because I played two strikes out of the money. So if that pulled back on me, I just did not like that. All right, let's see. I'm really watching the Qs. Yeah, Qs is really my main watch. Like I said, we know we're long in these names. We're not. We're long bias. So pull back 201.05 off the pre-market. If you took that strong buyer stepped in, that's super solid. Break and retest over Tesla. We ended up taking that. We got that. Qs, I'm like, this is the one I'm open to. Like I'm in love with Tesla over 466. I kind of didn't want to take this, but I trusted long on this over Nvidia, to be honest. Just that market pulling back. Let's see what spot is doing. Yeah, SPY looks good. SPY looks really good. Look at the price action on this thing. What are we looking at on the daily? Okay, not too bad. We filled a little bit of this gap. We still got this gap to fill. We can pull up to here. That's another gap that's filled. So it looks good. It does. I'm being a little cautious here on the Qs because you can see this is starting to step in. But why? Because look at, SPY's approaching this 679.85. Because technically, it could do something like that. Right? We broke under this. We still need to retest, so it could do something like that. Definitely could have my cons a little bit more on on Tesla. But I got feel like up here. I was a little patient on this. So yeah, still doing a scalp from here to high day, but it's a really good trade. I'm very happy with it. Right, it was a difference between 466, how I managed that trade and held it, versus being in this channel. That's the only thing. Spot looks good. It really does. I was hoping this thing would have just continued down to 673. I was hoping for that. We can still get it, but Okay, let's see. In hindsight, this is easy to say. Tesla, uh, solid entry though, but I entered a little late to this party, like up here. So my stop loss would have to been down here. So I just checked my trades a little. It was like an 8% trade. So I'm very happy with the scalp. That was a good trade. Maybe I could have held to like this high day, maybe, but no regrets there. We're in a channel. So on a technical standpoint, really shouldn't even take that trade. But I'm happy with it. I'll take it. Let's see what let's see what I'm not trying to look for SPY. Like I said, I mean, we still got some ways to see, but SPY really could just be, retesting this and continuing lower. It really could. We got 2 minutes until this candle close, but pretty much 25 minutes to the straight upside. Key level here being respected on the dot. So I like it. Yeah, I was just not ready yet. Pretty much just consolidating. Yeah, it's just consolidating. When you zoom out here, we're just in between the previous day high and the previous day low, and then sitting in the middle of this key level. So nothing really going on there on uh on Apple, right? So if you didn't take this pullback long off of 450 today, um, like I said, 466, like that's just a more conservative play. Now, let's not be surprised. What do I always say? What do I always say? When we fell a key level and we reclaim it, what do? Fuel this move to the upside. Only reason I didn't play the reclaim here, and I played the retest instead, obviously this would have been a better entry, is because when we pull it back, buyers never showed up here. See, the only way I take a reclaim is if we break, retest, buyers show their hands, but they end up failing to hold the level. Then I'll take the reclaim. But when buyers never show their hands at all, you gotta wait for that break and retest. So super solid. You saw what I just drew out here on the video. This is what you want to see, right? Break, retest, hold this swing high as support, and then continue higher. So maybe you scale out here at high day, you read the price action, and you scale out into this push. And then you can either cut your runners here, or if you really want the bigger move, you just let your runners cut you off for break even, like around your entry point. That's typically why I let my runners like take me out for break even. Because sometimes like I would sell my runners after we break structure, and the move never comes back to like break even, my entry point, and then the thing just ends up continuing higher. So that's why I leave a little position, like roughly 10% of my position, so that way the trade can't go red on me anyway. So you kind of, this depends on how you trade. You can just ignore this and let break even stop you out down here, and hope you just get that continuation higher, and this turns into a swing trade. Or it's still a solid move on the video though, for sure. I would say the only thing I would do a little differently on Tesla is maybe I guess hold into this high day. Maybe that's like the only thing I would do different. It was still a quick 8% trade, so that's a decent hit, but no regrets there. Like we really didn't get a deep enough pullback here, but I like this displacement at this 451. That was a good enough displacement for me, so that's why I was looking at this candle for a retest, and then the overall market was pushing higher too, so I was comfortable taking that. But I took it like way up here because I don't want to get wicked out here, so I took it like up here. So it's still a good trade, but I would say the only thing I would do a little differently is this. But you didn't go wrong if you skipped this trade because technically you're in a channel, so don't feel bad if like you missed this 450. Tesla has like a mind of his own. It's crazy that we did all this yesterday. We really pushed up to 474 and we opened up at 450. It's unreal. I literally gave back more than $20 today. I mean, obviously we're recovering, but to push up here and then open down here is just crazy. You kind of just want to see Tesla hold structure. So perfect right off the pre-market plan. You would want to see something like that, like this thing hold structure. Tesla did that. You want to see this structure get held, right? It's just a dip. Nothing goes straight up. Still has to pull back on the intraday. Yeah, you're probably seeing this rejection here. About a 65-cent gap. About a 65-cent gap here on the SPY. Like I said, you could just see like a possible, I mean, support, term resistance. So you could just see, right, a break and retest off this 179, 679 to the downside. It's very possible. So it's important to like zoom out because on the intraday, see that you sometimes you feel like, damn, I kind of missed a move. When you go out on the 15 and you see we're sitting in a channel, not really, right? Like it's, if you treat this as a no trade zone, that's the safer route because this is your better RR trade over 205.15 because there's nothing in its way. The only next key level here is all-time highs. So look at this RR trade versus this. And this is a no trade zone. So you would hope that price even gravitates towards the top of 205, which you can clearly see we're not. So I hope that makes sense. It's just a matter of like not letting FOMO kick in. Super solid level, right? This is a great trade to the high day. It broke above the high day. But the more conservative play, if you skip this, that's fine because it's a no trade zone anyway. We're sitting in a channel. All right, even same here thing with Tesla. You skip that, that's fine. Saw how clean the price action was yesterday compared to today. Like today, it's not too bad. Like 2 minute, this does look pretty clean. The momentum's not there as much, but that's expected when you're in a channel. The only reason I don't like this hold is because, like I said, my contracts weren't moving that well. I mean, I guess 8%'s I wasn't in that trade long, so that is a decent win. But for me to enter up here and play 2 strikes out of the money, just kind of hoping for a little bit more pop. But honestly, the only thing I would do differently is like hold into this high day. That's the only thing I would do differently. So that's something for me to journal and fix. But today's one of those days, like if it was a cash day for you, that's honestly valid. Nvidia's sitting in the channel, Tesla's in our no trade zone, nothing set up on Apple. So if today was a no trade day for you, that's or a cash day, I should say. That's 100% fine. That is fine. Like you followed your rules if you treated these like as a no trade zone here and a no trade zone here. Like you followed your rules. All right, patience pace. You just wait for that. Targeting that, that's a valid shot. That's the more conservative play. So for the cash day, you're 100% fine. Yeah, it could have been a bigger payday here with Tesla. That's on me. I just did not like where I got filled, and my contracts weren't moving that much. That was the only thing I did not like. Other than that, could have been a really big payday here. Yeah, you can see them. I mean, technically, Q's is still trending higher because we haven't broke structure. So this is just reaction, and then you can look for that. I definitely had a big payday here on the Q's, so that's on me. I don't regret it. Everything's easier to say in hindsight. Got to remember that. But like I said, the only thing I would do differently is really hold into this high day push. Because if this quick scalp got me 8%, this is definitely over 15-ish, 20%, no doubt. That's the only thing I would do differently. Yeah. And then right, if NVIDIA just wants to chop around, like that's expected. Look at NVIDIA. That's why we kind of treated that as a no trade zone. That's expected if it just chops around. So, like I said, this is just like the competitor in me, so this one kind of ticked me off a little bit. Good trade, good thesis. We knew to go long off this 450. I didn't trade my P&L. I just saw like I ended up getting like a good push, and those contracts were -1%. And then I got a second push, and those contracts were barely break even. And I was like, what the heck? So I did not like that. That was like the only thing. What's the IB? IB's normal, yeah. Oh well. That was like the only thing I did not like. It had nothing to do with P&L. And remember, I really will. I think I should like make a video on this in the future. You get paid very well if you utilize the right strike prices, but you can only do something like this on a name like Tesla. So as we know, on average, Tesla moves $15 to $20 in a day. We know if you play out of the money contracts and they start to move in the money, you're gonna start getting paid, 2x, 3x, right? Especially with momentum, premium, all that stuff, right? You're gonna get paid more when these contracts climb into the money. They start to really print. So 477, and we pushed up to, I'm sorry, 447. My apologies, 447, and we pushed up to 460. So my idea here, the same thing that I did yesterday. When you play these two strikes out of the money and these contracts start to move, that's when you really start to get paid. So you can only do that on a name like Tesla though, because it moves big enough on the dollar amount size. On Nvidia or Apple, you can't play three strike prices out of the money. You cannot do that. So that was like really my idea here. I did the same thing yesterday. I did the same thing last week. I think you guys saw me take that trade. But that's when I was like holding off this 450 level, and I was up like 3,000, and I didn't sell because I was looking for that continuation. So hope that makes sense, right? Just understand the market conditions. Why I play like these cons on Tesla, because you're gonna get paid on Tesla, right? Even from here to the high day, it's like a $5 to $6 move. You know what I mean? So I hope that makes sense. And then as the week goes on, you get more conservative. Like tomorrow, the Tesla sets up, I'm playing one strike price out of the money. And then on Thursdays, Tesla moves as if it's a freaking Friday on Thursday. So I'm playing a strike price at the money. I'm playing at the money cons. Maybe sometimes a strike price in the money on Tesla on a Thursday. And then of course on a 0 DTE, I'm scaling down by like 50%. And I'm playing at the money cons or two strike prices in the money. But this is beautiful. This is exactly what I just drew out on Tesla. This is what you want to see, right? Dip get bought up, continuation higher. So we are trending for sure. We are trending. Um, There's a key level here on 626. You can see we keep pushing up to that on the dot. Look, not a single body of the candle closure above on the Qs. So far, I would say the really valid setup here was Tesla. And even if you didn't catch this is a hard catch. Like technically, this is the break for sure. The retest. My entry was aggressive because I didn't wait for this candle to close, but I did wait. I did wait for this to go from red to green. So once I saw that push, that's why I got filled up here. My stop loss is way down here. So my entry was a little aggressive. It's just because I trusted this level. But technically, right, if you never got, like, you never really got a retest, right? If you saw this and like, all right, not enough displacement, you waited for this next candle to form, and instead of entering here, you wait for the body of the candle, or the body of the candle to close. You never really got a retest, right? So, if you missed this on Tesla, that's fine. My entry was honestly aggressive. It may not seem like it because it played out and like the way I entered, but that was an aggressive entry, at least for me. But like I said, the only reason I took it is because this displacement, right? That's $1.27 displacement on Tesla. That's a big displacement. That's over $1. So you gotta, that's why I say less is more. Only focus on a handful of names and understand them. Like Nvidia, I would say a 75-cent displacement candle, that's decent enough for me. Why? Because I mean, if you look here, 202 to the high day is 20, I'm just gonna round this to 204, right? About $3, like compared to, $3 to $4 here. But from here, right, over 450 up into the high day, that's a $5 move. So that's why I say like you got to understand the personality of your tickers. Like a dollar displacement on a video, that's a big displacement, right? So typically, I'm looking for like this is a good displacement here on a video. 201.75, like that's a good displacement candle. It's very different when it comes to the names. So I hope that makes sense. But what we're seeing here on Tesla, honestly, I mean, super solid, right? Pull back long, trending higher. That's textbook. The trend is your friend. This is why like I don't really like to scale out. You you hold, right? You want to see the intraday structure hold into support. So if you target, I'm just trying to teach you how to manage and hold these trades to milk your winners. If you target the high day, you don't just sell into the high day. You see if price breaks through, right? Don't make the assumption that sellers are going to step in here. And if you do, now you're in a green trade. Your new stop loss is under this swing high, right? So you never would have got stopped out here. And this is how, right? You catch these continuation days and you hold your winners. That's exactly how. So, and then even on the 5 minute, this thing looks super good. This thing looks super solid. Enter here. You managed it on the 5 minute. You got that break to the high day. Like I definitely left a lot of money on the table with this trade, even if I just sold into the breakout here on the 5 minute. So I hope that makes sense. Right? Straight up. Already broke this down. Straight down. Like the last 2 days, there's just been thin volume created in here. So when we see these straight up and straight downs, just look left and see what happened the previous day. Like, no surprise there. But yeah, like I said, if you did not take a trade today, today was like a really good cash day. It was a good cash day. Like if you took the trades off the pre-market plan, you made money because they were high probability setups. But if you avoided these two channels, it would have been a cash day and then nothing set up on Apple. So, and now that I'm like reevaluating this, I never really got like a solid entry here on Tesla. I never really got a solid entry. Like we got the breakout, never really a retest here. So like I said, like something I'm gonna go in journal was this was a very aggressive entry. It played out. Like I trusted my 450 level. It played out. But now that you see what I'm seeing, right? Like, yeah, this was the break. This was really the instant retest. Honestly, this was an aggressive entry. But I hope that makes sense. That's something I'm gonna journal. Like I could have been a little bit more patient, and if I was, I wouldn't have got an entry, and that's okay. So that's something I would do differently moving forward. Like I said, we're in a channel here, so I don't really regret it. But in hindsight, how I trade, I probably shouldn't even taken a trade here, right? That's just like the competitor in me. Like even though it was a winning trade, I can still say probably shouldn't have taken that. You don't want to build bad habits. Like you saw what I saw in the entry, hammer stick candle, red to green, market's pushing higher. I knew, like a part of me knew, like okay, I know once we fill this key level and reclaim, that's going to fuel it to the upside. My entry was good, but like my cons, I was looking at those and those weren't moving that well. So nothing. I really should have just skipped the trade, to be honest. No surprise here, we're sitting sideways on Nvidia. Now I'm not as open to taking this trade here because I was looking for this on a 0 DTE on Qs. I was trying to get paid. So um like see this move here, like just trending higher. I was looking for that continuation, like this breakout, retest, move higher. But like I said, SPY, sorry, damn, SPY was pushing into the 679.85. I mean, look at SPY though, not a single 15-minute red candle. Complete opposite of yesterday. That's wild. Like look at yesterday at open, and then look at today. Like I said, we did pull back. We missed this by 77 cents. Kind of sucks. I was hoping we pull back. Technically, we still have a gap under here to be filled, but like this slowdown here is just really SPY pushing into the 679. That's really what we're seeing here. You know? Like I said, for me personally, I'm really hoping to see, just for like the sake of market structure and to get this set up, I'm really hoping for something like that, to be honest. Support, support, turn resistance. That simple, right? Break, retest, that's what I'm looking for. And then we get this continuation lower to fill that gap and then get the pullback long off this 673. That's what I'm looking for. Because then if we get back over, this 679.85, we still got this gap under here, and then we're pretty much just back in this channel, right? We're just back in this channel up here in between 685 and 679. Apple's really trying, man. Today's just a consolidation day. Like it's not, look how, I mean, it's the high day is 269, the lower day is 267, so it really hasn't done anything. I mean, look at yesterday's price action, dollar movement compared to today. So it's really not doing anything today. So I see these as like, these are just still plays setting up. We know we're bullish bias on this name. See this tight range on the video? Like we did pull back, it did hold this, but we're in a channel. So that's what I mean sometimes when I say, no, that's what I mean every time when I say you can't really expect clean continuation when we're inside of a channel. You can't expect that. So you can see this the 626 on the Qs acting as resistance here. Like I said, we still haven't broke structure. You can kind of see it's not a lot of momentum, but we're still like moving higher for sure. This is solid here on the video. This was solid. Really what I'm looking for in the future. And then keep in mind, tomorrow we're gonna have AMD back. Well, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what earning does. But hopefully AMD's back in the mix because that thing could really just rocket and gap up. So far, every freaking tech name during earnings has rocketed to the upside. We had Apple rocket, you can clearly see here, push up to 285. We had Google, we had Tesla actually didn't do anything for earnings. So every majority of the tech names have been skyrocketing to the upside, which is really no surprise. But here, I'll break down every trade, or I'm sorry, every stock that we're looking for, like on the higher time frame for the A plus setups. So here on Tesla, right, we're sitting in that channel again, but this is what we're looking for. We're looking for that. This is still the A plus trade, so we're looking for that. Good target here. and then you would want this to continue towards all-time high. So that's really the A plus setup we're looking for and waiting for on Tesla. NVIDIA, you can clearly see we're in a channel. So if you skip that trade, just like I did, it was a good skip. NVIDIA, really looking for that. This is the A plus. Remember, we broke this key level, this 195.62, never got the retest. Or this is the better RR trade as well because there's nothing in its way targeting all-time highs. So we did really good avoiding this no trade zone today, super solid. And then Apple. So Apple, kind of same thing here. Kind of as NVIDIA, we're still waiting for that. That's really our A plus long that we're looking for, so we're going to be patient. Or a break and retest over this. Why is that a good trade? There's nothing in its way to the upside. There's no resistance levels in its way to the upside. So you can clearly see today, Apple's just sitting in between here. There's no key levels in there anyway, no trade zone for us. So if today was a cash day, super solid day. There were really no setups. God honest truth, there was really no setups. I forced a setup on Tesla, so that's my mistake. I'm going to journal that and get to the drawing board so I can avoid that in the future. I forced that trade. There was really never a clean setup there, even on the break and retest. Yeah, you can see this 626 is like, we did our job. We found a key level. But this is what I want, right? I don't want to be a party pooper. I promise I don't. But if you understand like market structure on like how I'm trying to teach you, I hope this makes sense. Like this is what we want here on the cues. Like look at, we still got this gap like way down here. Like this is all still a gap. We can't forget that. That's still a gap. So it was good that we opened up under this today. Same thing on the SPY. That's what I want to see. It doesn't mean that, we're bearish. We're still waiting for the pullback. We're still waiting for these gaps to get filled. And this is like the A plus dip buy. That is the dip buy in this market right now. So I'm hoping we pull back. It's very good that, we gap down because we kept gapping up. So I'm happy with a gap down. And if we can just, consolidate here and then do something like that, that's a valid shot. That's something I want to see. All right, looking at the video, this thing went to high, damn, right back down to 205. I'm sorry, 201.05. So all across the board, really nothing today. At least how I trade, really nothing, no setups today. All right, great intraday scalps for sure. If you took a pullback long off this 201.05, you trusted your level and you held into this high day, that's a great trade. It's a great trade. Why? You planned your trade, right? You traded your plan. You were long biased, so you traded with the overall time frame. You took a trade off the higher time frame key level. You held into the high day. Like that was a solid trade. But like I said, if you skip that trade and you did not take it because we were in a no trade zone, that is 100% perfect. That is valid. That's conservative. That's risk management. That's fine. So there's really no right or wrong there today on this name. I want you to get to the point where like you understand you're a risk manager before you're a trader. My entry here was not a risk manager entry. So I don't want to teach you bad habits. I shouldn't have taken that trade. It was a winning trade, but I shouldn't have taken that. There's really no entry here. I hope the reclaim explanation makes sense. It took me a while to learn that. So remember, right, you're going to play the reclaim. Actually, I'll give you a visual. I really want this to make sense to you. Okay, if we fall under, right, if we fall under, give me one sec, and we do something like that, you're not going to play the reclaim. Why? Because buyers never stepped up. So only time you play the reclaim is when we pull back, we hold a little bit, then we fell under. That shows me, okay, buyers did try and step up and defend this level. We're long bias on this name, but we never held that. So that's why if we're playing the pullback long, stick with me. If we're playing the pullback long, and buyers never step up and we fell under that, you have to wait for the break and retest after we reclaim this again. I hope that makes sense. So something like NVIDIA, right? Let's look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA pulled back. Buyers did step up aggressively. We can clearly see that buyers did step up aggressively. But if it just fell under, right? You're not going to play the reclaim on that. If it just falls right under, now you have to wait for this, get back over, retest this, see buyers step up, and then take a long position. So I hope that makes sense. That's why I didn't play the reclaim here because buyers never showed that they defended this on the pullback. You don't want to go straight under. There's no sign of buyers stepping up there. We want to see this, like, okay, buyers did step up, and then we failed. That's what you want to see. So I hope that makes sense on how you play the pullback long, how you play the reclaim, or play the break and retest on the pullback longs. I really hope that makes sense. You want to see strong buyers step up. If strong buyers step up aggressively, you take your shot. Like we saw here in the video, we pulled back. We saw this candle together. Buyers stepped up very aggressively. You got to take your shot. If you lose, so be it. Right? It's not your job to control the outcome or know the outcome of a trade. Buyers stepped up aggressively. You take your shot. You're risking right under this. That's a good RR trade. If you're targeting the high day and your stop loss is the candle closing 201.05, that's a good shot. That's a good RR trade. So I hope that makes sense. It took me a while to like understand the difference and learn how to play the reclaim versus like the break and retest on the pullback long. It took me a while to understand that. It's a big difference. It's a very big difference. So I hope I explained that very well. We're just starting to really consolidate for the fun of it. Let's see what these other side watchers are doing. I'm pretty much gonna call it here. It's already 7:38 for me. Palantir. Damn, my alert didn't go off? What the hell? Damn, that's annoying, bro. My alert didn't go off? You're kidding me. Well, this is, damn, bro. This is what I was looking for. I just broke this down yesterday pre-market. We got the break and retest over 188. I explained that on the higher time frame when I said, we broke over 188, but we got a break in base. We never got the displacement. This was the retest today. But I think this name just does not want me to trade it. I've never had problems where, because I promise you, I set an alert here. That's wild. Look at that perfect break, retest, buyer step in, straight shot toward high day. This was if you caught this today, kudos to you. I broke this down like 4 days in a row. I told you we were waiting for this pullback to 188. So if you caught that, super solid trade. Kudos to you. We knew this 188 on this weekly level is what we were looking for. Damn, bro, that's annoying. Oh well. You gotta know how bad I wanted this, so that's pretty annoying. Damn, did my alert not go off? You're kidding me, bro. Yeah, that's very annoying. You gotta be kidding me. That's very annoying. I knew this thing was coming. If you watched the pre-market video from yesterday, we broke this down like so beautifully. I said, the most important thing about the break and retest entry criteria is what? Displacement. That's the number one most important thing on the break and retest. So you see here, we ended up getting the break and base over 188, but we never got displacement. We never got displacement. This was the follow-up on the displacement, right? That was our displacement. So we were still waiting for the retest. We literally just got that today. I knew that was coming. That's exactly what we were looking for. We broke that down on the dot yesterday. And then for this to play out, right? You're not looking for a pullback long because I just explained it. Buyers never stepped up here. We fell right under. So when we fall right under, we're waiting for the break and retest after we reclaim it. Ended up getting that break, good displacement, retest here. Buyers step up aggressively and just shoot up towards the high day. Damn. Oh well. Yeah, that's annoying. I really wanted that trade. I've been stalking this thing like crazy, even when it was in this channel. Like I had people asking me like, bro, why do you keep looking at this? I had people keep asking me like, why do you keep looking at this name? Like there's nothing going on. I'm like, bro, it's setting up. I promise you, it's setting up. Like Palantir's a solid name. Like before all this consolidation crap, look how clean the price action was on the daily. Don't sleep on this name. It's a solid name to trade. Spreads are solid. Spreads are tight. Look at the volume. 22,000, 13,000. Look at the delta. Over 50. Even two strikes out of the money. Over 40. Tight spreads like that. It's a really good name to trade. It really is. Don't sleep on this name. I really wanted to set up. Oh well. Hood, nothing here. Yeah, nothing on hood. We know we're bullish bias on this name. Like I said, if we break under this, this was like a break of structure. So you can see buyers stepped up very quick here. So this thing is still bullish bias, but we got earnest this week. There's nothing here. Google, I already broke this down. We're still kind of waiting for that deeper pullback because we got that breakout and never got a retest. You can see it's respecting this 280 pretty well. Yeah, super solid. Kind of a slow mover. Like I said, you don't even want to enter this trade. Like we're kind of starting to form a channel up here. We're just waiting for that deeper pullback. But you can see last 2 days, respecting this 280 on the dot. We don't care about AMD. Has earnest today, but still stuck in the channel. See what Amazon did. Really nothing. Yeah, there's nothing here. It's sitting near all-time highs. There's no setup here. We'll see. SPY still rejecting this 679. Look at Qs on the dot. 15-minute. We see the damage body tells the story. So this is a key level here on this name. The trend is your friend. We're long bias on this name. So for the Qs, I was really looking for this. I would have definitely taken this shot. Break and retest over this. Right, you're playing the gap fill on a 0 DTE. Actually, the close was, where was the close at? Like up here. So, right, you're really playing a gap fill play. I'll take that 100%. I was really looking for that shot, but as you can see, momentum died down, and now this 626.60 is acting as clear resistance. Tesla, sitting in a channel. NVIDIA, pretty cool. Like to see, like NVIDIA's defending this 201.05 very well. That's one of the main reasons why I like to trade NVIDIA, because it doesn't move that well on the underline. Like NVIDIA is a slow mover. It really is. I've said in the past, names like Apple or NVIDIA, they're great to trade on like Fridays and Thursdays because you're really gonna get paid for those moves. I'm sure you've taken trades on NVIDIA where like you get a good momentum push, but those contracts barely move. But it respects technical analysis on the dot. Like it really does. So NVIDIA is a name that I really do like. You can clearly see like this 201.05 is being held beautifully. And the way I broke down scaling this out, it depends on the trader you are and how you want to trade. I know some people don't like the swing trade. It depends on how you are, but you can either, I know I broke this down, right? You can scale out or you can sell your runners when you break structure on the intraday and say, okay, today was a good day trade. But if you're like me and you're trading on the higher time frames, you're waiting for price to gravitate towards the other key level. So let's say you sell 90% of your position into this high day and you leave 10%. You never would have got stopped out here. And we've seen it before. This 10% position can make you more than your entire position, right? You're playing with the overall time frame. We're high on the higher time frame. We're bullish bias. We're trending. So these runners can turn into a swing trade and make you, 10x, 20x. So technically, right? You sell your runners. You never would have got stopped out here. Market structure is still in play. Like I always say, everything else is noise. As long as you are above your 201.05, your thesis is valid. The only way, like, right, you know you're invalid is if you break under 201.05. Everything else is noise. So that, like, these are how you catch, those swing trades. You leave some runners and you let them take you out for break even instead of break of structure. But like I said, it depends on the type of trader you are. But yeah, it's cool to see Nvidia's like really defending this 201.05. No shocker there. And Apple, yeah, Apple's not doing much today. The last 2 days, Apple really hasn't done anything. See, the thing that I'm liking about Apple is to the upside. Stick with me. There's a lot of thin volume. There's a lot of thin volume to the upside. That's the main thing I'm really liking about this name. If we can reclaim this 269.10 and get a clear break and retest, like it's really nothing in its way to the upside. It's a good RR trade. Nothing in its way. You can really target this thing towards all-time highs. You can look to over here, and if this thing really wants to move higher, you can target this 285, which is earnings highs. But look at this on the daily. Yeah, the 269.10 is being respected very well. Last 3 days, I mean, it's still pretty early market open, but we've just been flirting with this 269 on Friday, yesterday, and then now today. So I'm hoping either we just get this pullback here to 264, or we just get a break and retest over 269. But Apple is setting up. Apple's definitely setting up. This one hurt, guys. I'm gonna be honest. This one hurt. We were waiting for this. I swear I had an alert here. Maybe it went off right at market open. I don't know. Or maybe it ripped through so fast to the downside it never went off. I have no idea. Like, that is textbook. That's exactly what we were waiting for. I understood we didn't have clear displacement on the breakout on the daily. It was a break and base, so we were still waiting for that displacement and then the retest. So what you saw now, that is the retest. That is like beautiful. That's textbook. That's exactly what we were looking for. So get in here, right? Scale out there if you want. I'm really looking for continuation because, like I said, I treat trades differently based off of weekly levels. But we were waiting for this. This is a solid trade. That's like an A. This is like what I mean when I say patient pays, and you let these things develop over a couple of days, right? We see this all the time. You already know what I'm going to say. When we fell a key level, we reclaim it. What does that do? Fuel that move to the upside. See that every day. But here, ended up getting the break and retest on the reclaim and shot. That is textbook. Kind of upset I didn't get that. Right? I mean, it's part of the game, but I promise you guys, I definitely had an alert set there. That sucks. Now you can see, Tesla is just starting to sit. So I hope all these things make sense. Like, if you had a cash day today, it was a solid cash day. Like, let's look at Tesla on the 15th. Like, look at this entire movement that it had yesterday. Look at that, and then look at today. I'm gonna go with the body of the candle. Like, see that? See the difference? We're just back in here. We're back in here. So after I'm done here, I'm gonna go journal and review my trade. And honestly, for me, today really should have been a cash day. I shouldn't have taken a trade today. That's just me being like very transparent. I'm upset with my entry here. Like I said, that's really just like the competitor in me, but shouldn't have taken that trade, to be honest. I really shouldn't have. Yeah, you see this? Like, you don't even want to be in that. There's nothing in there. You don't want to be in that. But yeah, I think I'm gonna call it here. You can see, yeah, now we're starting to spill off. Now we're starting to spill off here on the cues. Let's see what SPY. I think SPY's rejecting. Exactly. Yeah, that's beautiful. That is just good old market structure that we see all the time. Support, 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 break. That same support turns into resistance. It's really that simple. It's really that simple. Ended up getting the spill off, right? I called this kind of like right before it even happened because I understood, like, yeah, we are rallying to the upside, but this could just be a retest of this key level that it broke. So that's exactly what we're seeing. So I always say support turns into new resistance and vice versa. Vice versa. So that's what we're seeing here. I'm happy about it. I want this market to continue to pull back. We miss it on Palantir. I'll cry about it after this. But this is still in play. This pullback long off of 673, that's still in play. That is like our A plus dip buy, and I'm not missing that. See what I mean here on Tesla? Like, if you skip this trade, that's fine. It looked good, but we're in a channel. Looking at the video, we're in a channel. So there's really no setups today, to be completely honest, except Palantir. Palantir was our only setup. I'm just going to make the assumption that we fell through this so fast that my alert didn't go off. That's happened to me in the past. I mean, you can see we just ripped through this. I had a level at 188. We just ripped under this. So I'm going to just make the assumption that happened. I have no idea, but I know I set an alert here. I've been stalking this thing. And then this is why I like to manage my trades on the higher time frame. You got to be able to sit, in these pullbacks, right? We haven't broken structure. This is our swing low right here. So we broke structure once that happens. So you would still hold this. If you're looking for swing trades and this and that, you're not really managing your trades based off your P&L. You're managing your trades based off of market structure. So this thing has now broken structure once we fall under this. See what I mean? So this is valid. That's valid. And then we look for that, and then we want that. That's what we want. All right, that makes sense. So hope I broke that down thoroughly. This thing is still trending to the upside. Don't sleep on this name. Damn, that sucks. I would say the next key level to really look to take a trade off of is this 198. This 198 right here. Like I just broke down on the SPY. Resistance, resistance, broke, turned it into support, then we broke under, retested that today, resistance. So then we would just look for that, turn it to support. Really that simple. So this thing's still in play, right? We are bullish bias on Palantir. We obviously know that. But today, this pullback long off this 188, this retest, that's the A plus trade. Like I always say, we want to be in positions long down here before we even get back up here. So I don't know. That one sucks, but it is what it is. Let's say IWM. Sometimes I peek at this IWM. Mm, it's moving higher. So this thing is it's moving higher. I know some people look at IWM. We'll have a breaker structure. If we break under this weekly level, this 240.48, then you can look to short this name. You can clearly see we're moving higher. But if we get a break and retest under this, and this is a weekly level, that's a big deal. We're now bearish bias, right? That's a breaker structure and a trending name to the upside. So, and it's a weekly level. That's a big deal. So just be mindful of this 240. I'm gonna just round it to 50. It's 240.50 on the weekly on IWM. Yeah, kind of a slow day. Nothing going on today. Solid day, but yeah, yeah. This 260, this 626, beautiful. Like on the dot. That's on the dot. That's exactly what you want to see. So I hope this market continues to pull back. To be completely honest, despite the cues, we need it. We really need it. All right, we still got. Let's not forget, we still got this gap to fill. That's still a gap fill, and then something like this. That's on the cues, and then on SPY, SPY, yeah, SPY is pretty much like filling its gaps. Yeah, there's no more gaps. I mean, we still have this. Like I said, we missed about 77 cents. Technically speaking, this is still a gap, but you see the setup here, right? Like I'm hoping we can get this pullback a little deeper, but this is the setup that I've been preaching, right? That is the A plus long here, the 673. So I hope we didn't miss it with the retest by 77 cents during the pre-market. But I mean, this is the beautiful boom. That is like the A plus long. It really is. So hopefully we can pull back. But if we don't, the retest kind of already happened. But I'm hoping this thing can still fill this gap. We still got this gap like right in here. So I'm hoping we can fill that and just pull back. I'm liking that sellers are stepping up here, and then maybe tomorrow, we get a body of the candle form and we get something like that. So 673 is still in play. It's still in play. But yeah, I'm gonna call it here. I hope you're able to learn something. I want you to learn, what not to do. I ended up taking this trade. It was an aggressive entry. It ended up working out, but I don't want to teach bad habits, right? So I broke down why I took this trade, why I got out as quick as I did as well, just because my cons. And then most importantly, the main lesson here today is, well, two. One, we see why we avoid channels, and two, uh, how to play the reclaim on a pullback versus, okay, play the break and retest instead. So those are two things that like I really wanted to hit on. I hope the pullback long versus, okay, now I'm looking for the reclaim makes sense, right? You play the reclaim when we pull back, buyer step up, we try and hold it, and then we fell it, and then we reclaim it again with momentum versus playing the break and retest like here on Tesla, where we pull back, buyers don't show up at all. We end up falling straight through, and then we get that break and retest to the upside. So here we ended up getting the break, but we never really got the retest. I ended up playing basically the instant break and retest. It was kind of like a momentum play because I knew once we reclaim this, that feels that move higher. We see that all the time. That was like really my thought process behind it. But I never really got a solid like break and then a pullback deep enough to risk off my 450. So those are like really the main two lessons today. So I hope you're able to learn something. Stay safe, right? Avoid channels, be patient. A lot of names are still setting up. We'll see how AMD does after earnings. Right, this thing is still kind of sitting in the channel. I hope it doesn't gap up too much or gap down too. I'd rather gap down than gap up, right? Because at least if it gaps down, we still got some key levels to play off of to the upside. But if this thing gaps up, I'm not really fond of that. So we'll see. But yeah, hope you're able to learn something. Hope today was a good day. And I will see you guys tomorrow.